I'm
Yes.
drowning. Will you help me?
Well, I think we will all have to help ourselves or help ourselves together
Yeah.
and better prevent this to happen.
Yeah.
My project is about the rise of the sea level, and I had the idea that I would be, when I applied for AIR Assens, that I would be close to the shore. But when later on I realized that was not the case, so I thought I have to make the water myself. So I attached a lot of blue strings,
Yeah.
giving the idea of the water, and by walking in from that side this way, you're going into the water and you're entering an underwater world,
Yeah.
and you might be drowning.
Yeah. And that's what's happening in the world.
It's what's happening in the world.
Yeah.
And I'm from Holland.
Yeah.
And we know how to deal with the sea. A third of our country is below sea level.
Yeah.
So we have dikes and dunes all around the country. And I was interested to see how it would be here in Fyn.
Yeah.
And when I arrived here and I cycled round along the coast, I thought, well, not so much of a problem. After a few meters, the ground is high enough and the water is not coming in. But having a closer look, I realized that also over here, if the water rises, and especially if storms get stronger because of climate change, that water is actually coming in.
Yeah.
And that even in Assens,
Yeah.
the water is coming in.
Yeah.
And it may be more acute even here in Denmark than it's in the Netherlands, because we know we have dikes that protect us for floods. So we should do something about it.
Yeah.
And when it comes to sea level rise, you can take all kind of measures to protect the country
Yeah.
and protect the people, and I think you should do that, and there are plans.
Yeah.
But to me, it's more important to prevent this to happen.
Yeah.
I came with an idea about the rise of the sea level, but I had no idea how to make that visual. So I cycled and I walked and I swam, and I knew how seaweed looks, but I didn't know that seaweed is growing on stones like this, and it's so firmly attached to it. I was really impressed.
Yeah.
Because it's such a small point where
Yeah.
it is, and
Yeah.
you can hardly pull it off.
Yeah.
So I was really impressed by that.
Yeah.
And it made me, I love to go into nature and to see and be surprised and to be marveled by what nature
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
So I took this and I
A
took
lot of them.
more seaweed, just to show it over here. And I didn't know what to do with it, but then I often make installations in trees.
Yeah.
So I thought I must be doing that here.
Yeah.
So I hang them in the trees,
Yeah.
and I hope that people will look at it and be marveled by the beauties of nature. I started with the real thing,
Yeah.
and then I thought, what am I going to do next? And I have been inspired by the seaweed, and I made similar structures from paper, carton, and from rope.
Yeah.
And I'll make some others to extend this, to make it a larger installation, and have a transition from the real natural thing to man-made things.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's all natural material.
Yeah.
I know when I make this kind of installation that people go into it, and then you're getting the atmosphere.
Yeah.
And that's a nice thing.
Yeah. Not for me. I'm drowning. You see.
Yes, you're drowning. This is about balance, and balance is so important. It's important that we maintain the balance in nature, and that we maintain the balance between man and nature. So apart from that, it's nice to look at, I think. I always like mobiles, and I like it when they move.
Yeah.
I am experimenting with this kind of mobiles.
Yeah.
And the idea is it should be in balance. And it can be difficult to be in balance.
Yeah.
I think I made this one a bit too difficult because it has been fallen down already a bit of the time. But we should be, as humans, we should be in balance with nature.
Okay.
So we should maintain the balance, and to maintain the balance we might have to bend forwards, or if we if we lean backwards, we will fall.
Yeah.
So we have to maintain the balance with nature.
Okay. I see.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
And this is very explicit, and I hope after this week that I will make other works. Okay.
We lost.
We lost. I hope after this week I will make other works that are not so explicit,
Yeah.
but in which it's more abstract.
I see more blue strings.
Yes, and blue strings mean water.
Yeah.
And at present the water is like this.
Yeah.
I made three different situations. I think here at Foon we can say that if the water will rise, that the most of the land is still above the water.
Yeah.
And there will be some parts that will be flooding.
Yeah.
And you should protect them, you should do something about it. It's important. Yeah. I come from the Netherlands and we live behind a dike.
Yeah.
If the water will rise, and it will take a long time because our dikes are strong, but they're made for 40 centimeters sea level rise. Yeah. If it rises up to a meter, they will have to be made higher.
Yeah.
And there's a limit to that. So it might happen that the water comes like this.
Yeah.
A third of the country will be in the water. And I think there are other countries, and in my head I have Bangladesh as a country in the south that's very low lying, and if the seawater rises it will come in. It's a poor country and they won't have the money to do something about it. So the people will have to move away from the water. Yeah. So what I'd like to do is ask people who come here to say where they think they are living.
Okay.
And I think most of the people will be doing this.
Yeah. Oh.
So that's my idea. If the water rises too much, then people will be moving.
Yeah.
And we should prevent that to happen, because it's not good when people have to leave their places. And I hope we from the Netherlands don't have to come to Foon, because Holland is too full. And I hope the people from the Bangladesh don't have to come to Foon or to Holland. Because this is what's going to happen then, I'm afraid. This is what's actually happening. That people who are drowning,
yeah,
or who have to move, that they are asking, are we allowed in?
No.
And we don't want them in. So we say stop.
Yeah.
So I'm afraid that this will be happening if it may not be now, but in some generations, a lot of migration will come. Yeah. And I think it's so important to prevent this to happen. Yeah. And to prevent climate change, because the cost of not preventing it is so much higher than the cost of doing something by now. So I made it visual in this way, and this also is very explicit, and I'll think about other ways to visualize it.
Very, very interesting.
Okay.
And understandable.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.